Prarambh of the Hal. Let's begin with the main stories. Parliamentarians and senior leaders demanding answers from the Prime Minister absent at the meeting of the House of Representatives. Prime Minister Dahal expresses dissatisfaction and concern. Absence of extradition treaty with Malaysia, a massive hurdle in bringing GB Rai alleged of abuse of funds of cooperatives to Nepal. Home Minister Ravi Lamisani says Rai's whereabouts have been ascertained. More than 1,000 Hajj pilgrims, including one Nepali national, dead in Saudi Arabia. Many more of those unregistered worshippers who perform the pilgrimage in extreme heat also considered deceased. And players say the Nepal men's national cricket team is in need of support instead of criticism, international exposure and improvement in batting the need of the team. A fire at Delta Complex located at Milan Chowk of Butwal has been brought under control. A total of 12 fire engines were used to extinguish the fire. We've learned that all of the shops housed in the 4-story building have suffered complete damages. Moving on, Prime Minister Pushpakumar Dahal addressed the Parliament session today in response to the demands by parliamentarians to inform them about his India visit. However, most top leaders of main political parties and even ministers were absent from today's meeting. Premier Dahal has said the absence had dented the Parliament's dignity and respect. Even those lawmakers who had strongly protested at the delay by the Prime Minister to inform about his India visit were absent at today's meeting of the House of Representatives. Premier Dahal said the absence had disrupted the practice of participation during Prime Minister's address and had sent a negative message. CPNUML Chair KP Sharma Oli signed in for today's meeting but left right away. Nepali Congress Parliamentary Party leader Sher Bahadur Dewa left the meeting amid Premier Dahal's address. CPN Unified Socialist Chair Madhav Kumar Nepal did not even show up. Deputy Prime Minister duo Raghuveer Mahaset and Narayan Kaji Shrestha were also absent. Opposition leaders Rajendra Lingden, Mohanta Thakur and Upendra Yadav, among others, were also absent from the meeting. Meanwhile, Nepali Congress Chief Whip Ramesh Lekhak said the Prime Minister's reservation was valid but added that the government had also been ignoring the Parliament. However, despite an almost empty Parliament meeting, Premier Dahal informed about his India visit. He informed that he talked with his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi regarding the effective implementation of the treaties and bilateral agreements between Nepal and India. He added that his meeting with Indian Prime Minister Modi dwelt on strengthening the border mechanism between the two countries and activate the mechanisms through dialogues. Prime Minister Dahal also said that he held serious discussions on the implementation of the Ponteshwar multi-purpose project, Arun hydropower and collaboration with India in agriculture sector of the country. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Home Affairs Ravi Lamisani has claimed that the whereabouts of GB Rai, who is alleged of abusing funds of cooperatives, have been ascertained. Speaking with journalists at the Bharatpur airport in Chitwan, Home Minister Lamisani claimed that only a few technical aspects were creating difficulties in extradition of Rai. Despite Home Minister Lamisani saying that dialogue was being held with the government of Malaysia to extradite Rai, there are no basis to verify the claim. Malaysia has so far denied handing Rai over to Nepal. A red notice through the Interpol has already been issued against Rai, who is alleged of abusing funds of Surya Darshan cooperatives of Pokhara. However, Malaysia has been denying handing him over to Nepal in absence of extradition treaty between the two countries. Home Minister Lamisani has claimed that he has held talks with his Malaysian counterpart twice and added that the whereabouts of Rai had been determined. After Nepal's request for handover of Rai was declined by Malaysia, the issue was raised by Nepal at the Interpol headquarters. After the Interpol headquarters urged Malaysia to facilitate the process, Malaysia had said that it would play its part. Kaski police had requested the Department of Passports to cancel Rai's passport. However, the Department of Passports declined the request, citing absence of laws to cancel or scrap the passport of any citizen, which has further complicated Rai's return to Nepal. Police officers are of the opinion that actions against Rai are unlikely until the government of Malaysia facilitates the process of his Nepal return. Now, regarding the budget announced by the government for the next fiscal year, Prime Minister Pushpakumar Dahal said it had been designed in a proportional way. He also addressed the criticisms to the budget by suggesting that it was not minister-centered and expressed commitment that the practice would continue in the future. Prime Minister Thal said the political upheavals before the budget formulation had influenced the federal government's decision to not take up programs that are of less than 30 million rupees. He clarified that the government wanted to ensure the budget and policies and programs are pragmatic and result-oriented and made sure there were no duplication between the federal, provincial and the local levels. CPNUML chairperson KP Sharma Oli has claimed that the current government will continue to operate until the next election. Speaking after the meeting of the ruling parties CPNUML, CPN Center and Rashtriya Swatantra Party, Oli claimed that the current government will remain in power until the coming election. Senior leaders of the three parties held talks regarding inclusion of Janamat and Nagarik Unmukti Party in the government and finding solutions regarding issues related to the budget. It is now time for our segment Public Polls, where you text us with your opinion.
Brought to you by.
Where within hospitals do you see the most irregularity? 18% vote for A, treatment and human resource, 14% vote for B, medicine and equipment, and 68% vote for C, management. Here is our today's question. What is your take on Home Minister Ravi Lamithane saying GB Rai, who has been alleged of mishandling cooperatives' money, was located in Malaysia? Your options are A, arrest immediately, B, maintain confidentiality of the information, and C, popularity stunt. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. It is now time for a short break, but for more news, to stay with us. The government is compelled to pay a hefty sum of loan installments as the Pokhara and Gautam Buddha international airports built at investments of 60 billion rupees have failed to generate adequate revenue. Currently, only domestic flights are operating through the airports as they are struggling to even make up for the operating costs. The blame, meanwhile, analysts say goes to the government itself for constructing the airports without adequate estimates and for failing to create a conducive environment. Based on the agreement with the Chinese government for the Pokhara International Airport, the government of Nepal has to pay Exim Bank loan installment of 954.5 million rupees every 6 months. For Vairava International Airport, the amount is over 14.9 million rupees every 6 months. However, the revenue of both the airport is nowhere near the installment amount. As a result, the government is paying it off from the state coffers. Meanwhile, it has been understood that the government is urging the government of China to turn the loan for Pokhara Airport into grant and has not paid the installment for some time. In case of the Vairava International Airport, the Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal is using its own revenue for installments. However, eventually the burden is for the public to bear as the government is yet to prepare a plan to fully operate these airports. For some time in the beginning, Jazeera Airways operated in the Vairava airport. However, they stopped their flights after it was hard to be diverted due to bad weather conditions and because of lack of implementation of the Instrument Landing System ILS. The plan to operate Nepal Airlines flights from Kuala Lumpur to Vairava and Himalayan Airlines flight from Vairava to Kuala Lumpur has also been irregular. In Pokhara Airport, the plans to operate Bhutan Air and Bangladesh's Air Astra has also been limited to papers. The Pokhara Airport, built at an investment of 24 billion rupees, only managed to earn 180 million rupees last year and 290 million rupees so far this year. Vairava Airport managed to earn 370 million rupees last year, which came down to 167.1 million rupees this year. In our Public Voice segment, we've asked in several provinces how has the condition of roads around them been now that the monsoon season has kicked in. Let us now take a look at what they had to say.
पैसा हाल्यो बर्खामा बगिहाल्छ हैन
बाटोको अवस्था एकदम गम्भीर छ हैन एकदम नाजुक छ
बाटोको पूर्वाधार बने तापनि यद्यपि अहिले चाहिँ त्यो नाली नभएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि अलि अप्ठ्यारो छ
अलि नराम्रै छ बाटो
बर्खा लाग्दाखेरि बाटो बनाउने सुरु भइरहेको छ हिउँदभरि चुप लाएर एकदम गाह्रो छ
जब बर्खा लाग्छ बाटो बनाउन सुरु गर्छ बनाइसक्छ बिग्री पनि सक्छ
बर्खा लाग्यो जताततै पानी जमेको छ चिप्लो छ
बाटो चाहिँ तुलनात्मक रूपमा चाहिँ राम्रै अवस्था रहेको छ
बाटो चाहिँ छ हैन अहिले खाल्टाखुल्टीहरू छ
गाडी जाँदैन पहिरो जाने
पहिरो लरेर पनि पुरै रोडमा आएर एकदम बन्द भएको अवस्था छ।
गाडीहरूलाई पनि ढुङ्गा झर्ला भन्ने डर छ र पैदल यात्रीहरूलाई पनि कठिनाइ नै छ।
नै नमिल्ने खालका बाटाहरू चाहिँ रहेका छन्।
बर्खा लाएर बनाएर बाटोको के सम्भव हुन्छ र?
गाउँघरतिर जाने बाटो सबै कच्ची नै कच्ची छन्।
पाहाडतिरको बाटो त झनै अब नराम्रो भइरहेको छ वर्षाको कारणले।
The government has assured dairy farmers that they would receive their due payments within 10 days. Secretary at the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, Rajendra Prasad Mishra, met with the farmers protesting at the Dairy Development Corporation in Loinchor, Kathmandu, and assured of ensuring their payment within 10 days, after which the farmers called off their protest. The ministry has also made preparations to hold talks with the representatives of the farmers tomorrow. A 9-member dialogue team is to be formed by the farmers for the talks. The demands of the farmers include immediate payments to the dairy farmers and protection of livestock farmers. Government-owned Dairy Development Corporation and the private dairy farms have not paid around 5 billion rupees to the farmers in the past 7 months. Moving on, one Nepali national who went for Hajj pilgrim has died in Saudi Arabia. According to Acting Consul General of Nepal in Jeddah, Satrudhwan Pokharel, of the Nepali nationals who had reached Saudi Arabia for this year's Hajj, 60-year-old Sayar Bano Sayed has died. Pokharel said that a few Nepali nationals who had reached for the Hajj were suffering from health-related issues, while Sayed was suffering from problems related to kidney and diabetes and breathed her last while undergoing treatment. A total of 765 pilgrims and 10 doctors had left for the Hajj in Saudi Arabia from Nepal. Time now for the international news. The death toll from this year's Hajj has exceeded 1,000, and AFP tally has said more than half of them unregistered worshippers who performed the pilgrimage in extreme heat in Saudi Arabia. The new deaths reported today included 58 from Egypt, according to an Arab diplomat who provided a breakdown showing that of 658 total dead from that country, 630 were unregistered. Around 10 countries have reported 1,081 deaths during the annual pilgrimage, one of the 5 pillars of Islam, which all Muslims must, with the means, complete at least once in their lifetime. The figures have come through official statements or from diplomats working on their country's responses. The Hajj, whose timing is determined by the lunar Islamic calendar, fell again this year during the oven-like Saudi summer. The National Meteorological Center reported a high of 51.8 degrees Celsius earlier this week at the Grand Mosque in Mecca. The diplomat said the principal cause of death among Egyptian pilgrims was the heat, which triggered complications related to high blood pressure and other issues. In addition to Egypt, fatalities have also been confirmed in Malaysia, Pakistan, India, Jordan, Indonesia, Iran, Senegal, Tunisia and Iraq's autonomous Kurdistan region, though in many cases authorities have not specified the cause. Friends and family members have been searching for pilgrims who are still missing. We have more news coming up, but right now it is time for yet another short break.
Sports news.
Nepal men's national cricket team are facing contrasting comments in support and criticism after they failed to progress from the group stage of the ongoing ICC 2020 Men's International Cricket World Cup. Had Team Nepal done better in terms of finishing, they might have achieved their best results in their T20 history. The lack of experience was evident among the Nepali players. However, it is not appropriate only to blame the team for the inexperience. It is imperative for the team to learn from the lessons and move forward as a better cricketing side. Had the Nepal men's national cricket team not displayed competitive cricket against strong test nations like South Africa and Bangladesh, the team would not have been praised by the international cricket fraternity. Despite failing to secure a single win in the T20 World Cup, Team Nepal are being praised by the international cricket community. However, even in such a situation, many Nepali supporters themselves have been criticizing the team. Failing to keep composure in the ending phase of matches has been identified as the team's weakness. Defeats make the players as much, if not more sad, as the fans. In such a situation, the players themselves have called for support instead of criticisms. Team Nepal had kept both South Africa and Bangladesh under pressure for most of the matches but failed to register wins. The results meant Nepal's wait for a win over test nation had to wait longer. Had Team Nepal won both of these matches, the results would have served Nepal's aspiration of becoming a test nation. While the bowling aspect was Nepal's strength at the World Cup, weaknesses were seen in the batting front. Lack of experience was the major cause of the defeats. Team Nepal had participated at the 2020 World Cup with much enthusiasm, but the zeal was not there when they returned home. Having delivered their best performance against test nations so far, Team Nepal need more support and motivation from all stakeholders to further boost their confidence and performance in the days ahead. That is all for the moment. Up next is the news in Nepali. Thank you for staying with us. Goodbye for now.